Hello, hello, and welcome to another reading. That's what this is, a tarot card reading at Queen Astro's tarot card reading channel. It all just makes sense, right? Anyway, you're here because you're mad. And I'm laughing because that's kind of how I deal with anger sometimes, is I kind of laugh. But sometimes that isn't the only way to deal with it. And, you know, maybe your typical sort of go-to in terms of what you do to feel better when you feel angry isn't working, or you feel like it's not very productive, even if you do enjoy it, sort of thing. So today's pick a card reading is going to look at how you can sort of alchemize your anger and turn it into, you know, use it as a tool for something productive, right? Because we don't have to squash our anger or be like, la, 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 everything is good. You know, that's not going to do anything. Emotions are tools. They're here for a reason, to tell us whether we're in danger, or, you know, just kind of giving us a hint at what's going on. So instead of ignoring them, we should use them to be like, I'm feeling angry. That means something needs to change, right? When you're feeling these strong emotions, they're a catalyst for change. But sometimes we can get stuck. And we've all been there. And maybe you're not stuck. But this is just going to kind of look at not exactly what you're angry at, but just like how you typically are angry, if that makes sense. And then how you can kind of either use that to your advantage, or if it's, you know, not so productive way of dealing with anger, like just, you know, drinking a lot or whatever. We'll figure out how to alchemize and change and transform that in a way that makes your anger a little more productive. And when I say productive, I don't necessarily mean like to make money. I mean like productive in the sense that it's not holding you back or dragging you down. But maybe it could also be to make money. Who friggin' knows? The cards will tell. Anyway, if you're still here, pile one, we've got the Fern Alder. Pile two, we've got the Untitled read. I believe it's a Untitled read. Pile three, we've got the Ore Spindle. And these are from the Celtic Tree Oracle. And then four, I've got the Sally Willow. So pile 1, 2, 3, 4. And you might be like, but Astro, why are there all these runes around? Because at the very end, I will pull one. I'm just kind of like a last closing sort of message or guidance. So again, that's piles 1, 2, 3, 4. The time stamps will be in the description, and I will see you at your pile. Bye, 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 bye. Hello, if you are here, you're pile 1, and you picked the Fern Alder as your Celtic Tree Oracle card. I love this deck. It's so freaking pretty. But really quickly, to preface, I'm going to kind of go over this card as like a vibe check. And if you feel like, yes, this is me, you're in the right pile. If not, you can go back and pick another pile. Or, you know, you can listen to all of them, just take what resonates and leave the rest, sort of thing. So it's interesting because the Fern Alder is usually connected with balancing that masculine and feminine, and especially in conjunction with number 3, which is like abundance, fertility, expansion, communication. I feel like with you pile ones, when you're angry, it's either there's not a Goldilocks, right? There's not a Goldilocks amount. Either you are very withdrawn and kind of passive in the situation, or you are very explosive and maybe a little volatile in terms of actions and or emotions when you're really, really angry. Because again, this card is all about balancing the like masculine and feminine energies within you. So it feels like there kind of might be like a tug of war Or maybe if you don't experience that back and forth, maybe you're just like either all rage, or all passivity and just, you know, letting things fester. And this card is really calling to, for you to bring a sort of balance into how you negotiate, I guess, your anger, or how to deal with your anger. So if this sounds like you, pile one, let's keep going. So I've got the Occult Tarot, and this is going to be kind of how you usually deal with anger. And then I've got the Crow Tarot, so, and this will be how to kind of alchemize or, you know, use this to your advantage. And I've just pre-pulled them after meditating on the piles. So it's as much of a reveal for me as it is for you. Ooh, as I drop the first one. All right, we've got the Two of Swords with Halphus. I love this deck. It's all the demons, like the presidents of hell and stuff. The Three of Pentacles. See, 3-3, that's interesting. The Four of Cups with Shacks. And in reverse, the Three of Wands with Vol. And just so you can see it right side up really quickly. Procures the love of a woman, tells things past, present, future. Builds love between friends and enemies. So kind of what I'm getting, pile 3, is that you do lean heavily on others, or if you don't lean heavily on others, you value the opinion of others when you're upset about something, to either sort of validate that, like, yes, you were in the right for feeling upset about this, or to help you deal with the situation. Because of like the Two of Swords, it's usually like this sort of indecision, right? This reasoning that your hands are tied, but really you're the one who's like holding the sword, so to speak, right? And especially with the Three of Pentacles and the Four of Cups. Isn't this fun too? Like 2, 3, 4, 3. Maybe that's the number you should look up. Angel number 2, 3, 4, 3. Let me know in the comments what that means. So now I'm just curious. But what I think is interesting, the Three of Pentacles is usually about, again, like this like expansion, this sort of stability. And the Four of Cups is usually about reflection, right? Another 4 is another stability number, like structure, sturdiness. And with the emotions, I feel like usually like you really like to weigh, you like to mull things over a lot, especially things you're upset about. Like you don't act right away. You're very, I need to sit in this, I need to figure this out. And you rely on friends and or family, or, you know, confidants that, to help you navigate these things. But with the Three of Wands in reverse, I feel like, yes, it's important to, you know, especially if you're like, am I overreacting? Am I like, if you really are, you know, trying to self-assess, I think it's important to, or I found it useful to, you know, ask people like, was this like out of line for me to do this or whatever? But if you're doing it because you want to hear a certain answer from them, right? Like it's because you're looking for that validation, or you're looking for that, like, yeah, he totally did me wrong. Yeah, of course you should go TP his house. Don't TP anyone's house. Or whatever, you know, like, so I think it's, right now I'm getting that, this leaning on people, while it can kind of be like very soothing in the short run. In the long run, there might be a better way to use your anger, or to sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Associate with it, I suppose, or integrate it. So now let's look at the Crow Tarot to see, sorry, I switched the side, my camera's usually on, I'm like, whoop, whoop. To see how we can kind of like alchemize this anger, or use it for good for you. We got the Hanged Man in reverse. I want to say I was on the money, but I was kind of on the money. Knight of Pentacles in reverse. The Two of Pentacles, also in reverse. And the Nine of Wands, also in reverse. So a lot of reversals. immediately, especially with the Hangman in reverse, that just kind of confirmed everything that I had kind of drawn from the top pile in terms of like this indecision, this inability to move forward without sort of consulting your crew or your guides. And I don't mean like your spirit guides. I mean like, you know, your coworkers or your, you know, neighbors or whoever you know you trust with your secrets and your frustrations, sort of thing. And you know, you might find yourself in situations where people are saying back to you like, yeah, that sucks, and they, you know, don't really have much else to say, because what else like, unless you are explicitly asking for advice, what else can they say, if that makes sense. I do want to look really quickly Knight of Pentacles in reverse, because the Knight is usually, especially with Pentacles, like material world, it's usually a very like slow moving but purposeful movement. In that reverse, I see there's like a lot of just like slow, non-purposeful movement, but I just want to clarify. I mean, not to say that's not purposeful, but like, you know, you're going like this when you could go like this, sort of thing, to get to the same place. And every path is valid. Trust me, I've done a lot of these. While I'm looking for this, if you want to like, share, subscribe, comment, blah, blah, blah. You know the drill. Alrighty, yeah. Reverse Knight of Wands serves as a warning to look out for someone who is impatient to a fault. Interesting. He too often overlooks important information, and as a result, many of his plans end in failure, right? So I think that's kind of like relates to this, like usually like you kind of rely on this group of people or community or even one person to kind of like give you guidance or whatever, but this impatience to not like actually figure it out yourself or to like sit with the frustration isn't serving you, especially with the Two of Pentacles in reverse too. It's like it's out of balance. I love this Two of Pentacles too because it looks like an infinity. Got like very Klimt vibes too. Yeah, sorry, I'm just like, now I'm just looking at that card. And then the Nine of Wands in reverse, which I usually take that as a card of like completed action when it's like upright, in the terms of like, I'm laying the final one here sort of thing. And 9 is a, you know, number of completion. It's how long pregnancy is. Pregnancies are actually closer to 10 months. But anyway, we won't get into that. But yeah, boom. Sorry, I was just reading it. This deck is a book. I'll link it in the description too. But dang, when I'm good, I'm good. When reversed, the Nine of Wands cautions against blaming others for your lack of progress and asks you to look inward. Are the obstacles in your way there to teach you a lesson or to self-sabotage because you're fearful of committing fully to the idea of project? When I'm good, I'm good. Yeah, so I think it's, right now, I think it's like you're trying to just get rid of the anger as fast as you can, or like validate it immediately. But it's saying the way to kind of alchemize or change your anger into something that's actually productive for your like overall well-being is to stop relying on others to either interpret or soothe you or agree with you on whatever's making you upset. Like if you ever find yourself in tangents, like I can't believe Roe versus, or you know, whatever. I don't know if I'll get dinged for saying certain things. Like I can't believe it got removed and da-da-da. It's like, if you want to be angry about that, like, and have people like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you are right. Great, you're going to get a little pat on the back, but what are you going to do about it, you know? Turn it into meaningful action, is what I'm trying to say. But yes, now that we've kind of got that going, let's pull pile 1 for you. A final rune for like final advice. This one. This is what I don't know yet, so now I have to look it up. I just got this, I've just started working with runes and they're really fun. Key. This is the rune key. Or I'm sorry, Isa. I read this font wrong. Haha. Isa. As an ice. Stasis, stillness, self-control, identity, focus, right? So I think that's just, again, confirming what I was saying earlier. That stasis, so that stillness, to be able to find that balance instead of, you know, just emoting or, you know, dumping frustrations on other people, for lack of a better term, helps with, will actually like mobilize this anger in a way that is productive. This is a rune of like will and focus. So I think it's just telling you to really focus on that. Like when, you know, if you find yourself really angry or upset about something, and your first instinct is to, you know, tweet or, you know, just be angry about it. I mean, that sounds kind of weird. You're allowed to be upset. But if your first reaction is to get some sort of validation from somebody else to agree with you or to just to vent to, take pause. Just sit with this for a moment. And instead of just like immediately like socking this situation in the face with your anger, sit with it for a moment and see how you can move forward in a productive manner. So yes, pile one that is what I have for you. If this resonated with you, please comment, like, share, subscribe. It helps the channel. I really enjoy doing these readings, and thank you so much for being here. I hope whatever is making you upset passes soon. And just know you can do it, dude. You can friggin' do it. So yes, on that aspirational note, I will leave y'all. Bye, pile one. Bye, bye, bye. Bye, bye. Hello, if you were here, you picked pile 2, which is the Untitled read from the Celtic Tarot Oracle deck. And before we hop into the tarot and the final rune, I'm gonna kind of do a little vibe check with the Oracle card. And if you feel like this resonates with you, pile 2, then you are in the right place. And if not, go back and pick another pile, or listen to all of them. Do what you like. So the Untitled read, I believe I'm saying that right. If you know how to say it, and I'm saying it wrong, let me know in the comments. But this is a card of direct action. I have a feeling, pile 2, that you're already somebody who is, you know, action oriented. Like you have a planner, you fill it out, like you do all the things. But I think sometimes with you for anger, it can almost just turn to an apathy just because there's so much on your to-do list. Like you are a very active person. Like your life is very busy. It's kind of what I'm getting. Especially with the ripples, it's like you are making all these like ripples in a lot of people's lives just because you do so much. And I think sometimes the anger can just turn to like, oh, fuck it. Like an exhaustion almost is kind of what I'm getting. But with the, and I say that because the Untitled read is like all about direct action. But it can also be about revitalizing those goals. Kind of remembering what about the situation or job or whatever it is in your life you're working on, what brought you to make these goals in the first place? What brought you to want to manifest this into your life in the first place? Because otherwise it can just kind of start to feel like we're checking off boxes, right? And I think that anger can kind of just almost like, it can be like big, but like fester under the water. I almost get like with the ripples too, like, you know, in Jurassic Park where it's just like, and you see all the water ripple. It's like, even though they're like a tiny cup of water rippling, like, you know, there's a big ass thing causing that. And I think that could be anger just, you know, building up. So if that sounds like you, pile 2, you are in the right pile. And then the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to take the Occult Tarot deck. And this is going to be like how you usually deal with anger. And then the Crow Tarot is going to be how to kind of alchemize or use how you deal with anger to your advantage. And I pre-pulled these, but I did not look at them, so it's as much of a reveal for me as it is for you. All right, we got the Eight of Swords. See, again, fast, swift action, right? This is Folkalar, kills by drowning and can sink ships, controls the seasonal winds, will spare any life by request. This is the Occult Tarot with all the demons from hell. It's metal as shit. Oh, wow. And then you got the Magician, Baphomet, gives health and financial prosperity, connects one safely with divine. See, like, I knew you were already somebody who, like, actively manifests this, or, like, is, like, very, like, you might be, like, a Capricorn, or have a lot of Cap in your chart, maybe even Virgo. Then we got the Page of Pentacles in reverse, or Marax. I love how these teaches astronomy and liberal science, knows the virtues of precious stones and herbs, gives very good familiars. So again, that's the Page of Pentacles in reverse. And then the Nine of Wands upright, a strong and faithful fighter. Oh, and this is, I'm sorry, Marchosius. A strong and faithful fighter, follows all commands and answers all questions. So yeah, again, I'm already like off these alone, especially with like the Nine of Wands and the Magician, like holy smokes, pile two. You are somebody who is able to like bring something to completion. You know how you have like done this before, and maybe like, honestly, maybe some of your anger is like kind of like this in this stagnant energy. Like I used to be able to do this, like fast action, especially with like the Eight of Swords. But with the Page of Pentacles in reverse, you know, the pages are usually, I don't want to use the word immature, because like immature and naive feel like very chastising, when that's not what the pages are. There's like a whimsy to them, like a wonder, like a tabula rasa sort of ness to them, where anything is possible, which is beautiful, and anything is possible. With it in reverse, I feel like there's frustration about like things not coming into the material world like they used to, and that's kind of led to this sort of like apathy, or this like anger that kind of just like is like a under the surface, but you know, could Jurassic Park at any second. Is kind of the vibe I'm getting right now, pile two. So that's kind of how you deal with anger right now. And now the Crow Tarot, which I will link all this in the description, is going to be how you can either like use this to your advantage, or how you can, you know, alchemize or make this shift, this transition, this way you cope with anger into a way that is fruitful. All right, so we got Death. The Four of Pentacles in reverse. Yep. The Sun. The Sun. It's such a pretty card. That's so exciting. The Sun and the Magician. Like, pile two, y'all are powerful people. And Justice in reverse. Wow, 3 major arcana in one reading from 2 different decks. That's pretty wild. So yeah, a transformation needs to happen, right? Like, almost like the Needle card was saying at the beginning, like you need to remember what it is about this that was making you, you know, want to chase these things. Like you have to shed this sort of plug and chug, like I'm doing everything right, so what the frig sort of mentality or type of anger, and be like, wait, what made me want this thing to begin with? Or what made me, you know, want to pursue this path to begin with? Especially with the Four of Pentacles in reverse, which can kind of like suggest this sort of possessiveness. But I just want to look at it in reverse. The deck also has a really beautiful guidebook. Well, I find this if you want to like, comment, subscribe, you know, all the fun YouTube things. Because YouTube is friggin' fun, y'all. Like, anybody who says that they don't get YouTube, they can go fart in a phone booth. All right. Yeah, it's a fear of poverty that has created the inability to let go and enjoy the financial resources available to you. So if this is an anger directly about finances, this doesn't have to be about finances though. It's just that like, oh, that clinging, without sort of the luster of why you started this to begin with is not serving you. And literally with the sun, it's like, be bright, beautiful, positive. And I don't mean that like in a toxic positivity way. Like, don't be like, oh, everything's fine, la 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 la. Like, you don't have to do that. But the way I kind of see it is like, I'm trying to think, like, if you're upset about or something making you mad, like your landlord just tried to tack on extra money to your rent or something, or like something that you're like is really frustrating. And you're like, you know what? This is wrong, and I am angry. I am really upset because I shouldn't be doing this right now. So I'm going to, you know, look into my state and my city's tenant laws, and protect myself. Like, I'm going to learn something. I'm going to learn something. I'm going to grow. I'm going to be so bright that like you can't win against me. Because I'm armed with like everything I need, and like I'm going to like gather people, like you really like, for lack of a better term, like there's like a little cow patty and something grows out of it. You're growing out of the shit, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. I swear, because we all grow out of the shit, right? Or we all shovel our way out of the shit. Especially with justice in reverse. I feel like there used to be a drive in you that was so justice oriented. I don't know why I get that you're very like an organizer, lefty vibes. I don't know, I'm getting that. Which, hell yeah, brother. Oh no, I did this. I was gonna do like the Spock thing, and then I just didn't. Anyway, pile 2. I think it's, you have to, whatever's making you upset or whatever, if it isn't sort of apathy, you know, because you just feel so inundated with things that make you upset, kind of, I'm not saying like re-experience trauma or anything like that, but, you know, look at what about the situation or person is making you upset to begin with, and then let that go, right? Like, let go of that old story and find the creative solutions within, you know, the material realm. But you do have like so many manifesting abilities. So you gotta shed that apathetic, like, I'm doing everything right, I guess I'll just keep doing everything right. Because that's a holding pattern within itself, right? Even if you're just doing everything right, sort of thing. Pile 2 is what I'm getting. And then last but not least, I'm going to pull a rune for kind of like a last outcome advice, sort of thing. I'm kind of new at runes, so be nice, and I'm reading slowly, but they are fun. Okay, this one, actually I believe it's like this. Will it focus on you? Maybe. It's like, nah. Why would I do that? Well, you see, it looks like a right angle or a Pac-Man mouth. Kenaz, or torch, knowledge, craft, tradition, controlled fire, hearth, experience. The student surpasses the teacher. Yeah, observation, clarity of thought, cognitive faculties, humility. Like, I think that is a really big part too, especially with like, I'm doing everything right, like, or whatever. I just keep that, like, I'm doing everything right. That humility and that ability to look back at what is making you so upset is going to serve you well in this situation. Pile 2 is kind of the vibe I'm getting with, and I'm going to say it again so I remember. Kenaz. I feel like I'm like Kenne from What's His Face, South Park. Anyway, I'm sorry for that terrible impression. You are very powerful, pile 2s. There's no doubt about it. And the apathy is not going to serve you, right? Remind yourself how to take that direct action, because you totally can friggin' do it. And that's all I have for y'all. If you enjoyed the reading, you know the drill. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And genuinely, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. I really, really appreciate it, and I'll see you soon. Bye, all. Hello, if you are here, you are pile 3, and you picked the Ore Spindle from the Celtic Tree Tarot, and by tarot, I mean Oracle deck. Before we get into the tarot cards and the final room, I'm gonna kind of do a little bit of a vibe check with this card, just to make sure pile 3 that this sounds like you. And if it does, awesome, you're in the right pile. If not, you can go pick another one, or watch all of them. Do what suits you. All right. So the Ore Spindle is very much a card of like being able to do the work. Like with the berries here, it's kind of like the spindle is like sustenance. So like when you feel, like I'm getting a feeling pile 3 that you feel like anger can be like overwhelming to you, where it's just like, you're so upset with, I mean, rightfully so, you know, anything or everything that's going on in the world, or like, you know, even within like your personal life, if something's going on, like when you get angry, you just kind of shut down, because you just feel like you don't have the capacity or the energy or the skills to deal with whatever it is that's making you upset, or like it just seems like, how could you, this one person, like if it's, you know, for a larger thing that's making you angry, change something or do something about this, or even within your life, if you're like, how the hell can I change this thing that's making me really angry? It's kind of the vibe I'm getting pile 3. And I'm going to read really quickly from the deck. Comes with a very, very beautiful guidebook. And also 22 is a master manifestor number. Heard of it? Heard of it? I'm silly, y'all. Welcome to the channel. But yeah, keywords: fulfillment, delight, light, sudden insight, thunder and lightning, release, energy, illumination, your best efforts, completion of a task. But I really love that all of the cards have a message from the spirit itself. And it's not saying to be, you know, like, yeah, you're right, like, don't beat yourself up about not having done stuff. What I think is really beautiful here, notice what you already have that is full of beauty and contentment. Pat yourself on the back for all that you've completed, for a job well done. Take some time to enjoy the fruits of your labor before you plunge into the next project or endeavor. How can you keep that inner light burning even in great darkness? I hope you embrace change and appreciate your own insight and sudden flashes of knowing. Which I think, yeah, like this is a card that's saying, if you do feel overwhelmed or like, I don't know what to do, you pick the right pile 3, because this spirit is here to help you. Put this card right here, pretty. And then I'm going to do, so I've got 2 tarot decks I pulled from, and to be clear, I pulled the cards, but I have not seen them, so it's as much of a reveal for me as it is for you. But the occult tarot deck I'm going to look at, kind of like how you usually deal with anger, to just kind of confirm and dive deeper into what the oracle card said. And then pile 2, I'm going to do the crow tarot, which is like how to alchemize or somehow, you know, change the way you cope with or usually deal with anger into something that can be more fruitful to your life. All right. So pile 1, we have 4 pentacles. This is your occult tarot, so they're all demons. Valifor, tempts thieves to steal, serves as an excellent familiar. 4. The Emperor controls the what? This is Baal. Controls the weather, rain, and lightning. Cures or causes pestilence. Right, so the Emperor already with the 4 pentacles, it's like there's just like usually a want or need for stability, right? Afraid that things are going to be stolen from you in some capacity. And the Emperor is kind of speaking to what the Spindle had said in terms of, you know, you have to dive into this masculine energy to kind of move forward, sort of thing. But let's keep going. Then we've got Temperance in reverse, right? Like that lack of balance in terms of how you cope. Yeah, and the 2 of Wands in reverse. Which is Ipos. What a cool looking dude. Tells of the past and the future. Can make one intelligent and bold. So yeah, right now, especially the in reverse, like I feel like there's a boldness that is innate in you, clearly, with like the Emperor, like this energy is in you. It's in all of us, you know, but like in terms of accessing it, it hasn't been happening. Like you've been shutting down more than anything is kind of what I'm getting, pile 3. And that's okay. Like sometimes literally for self-preservation purposes, you have to, and I'm not like, you know, recommending dissociating or anything like that, but you know, sometimes you do have to kind of hide away for a little bit. But that's not always going to serve you, is what I'm kind of getting, especially with things that make you angry. So now the Crow Tarot is going to kind of pull, yeah, how to alchemize, or the way you usually handle anger and how to turn it into something productive. Okay, so we've got the 8 of Cups. The 6 of Pentacles. The 6 of Wands in reverse. Oops. And the Page of Cups. So yeah, this like sort of escapism that usually comes with like the 8 of Cups. I don't think that's what it's suggesting as a move, because that would kind of, you know, be aligned with the whole feeling overwhelmed and not knowing what to do sort of thing. But yeah, it's about leaving behind something, right? That's also what it can mean as well. I'm looking at the guidebook. Like, yeah, oh my God, sorry, it's just so good from the book. The moon represents her shadow self and her true nature, one she tries to suppress but cannot deny, right? Like, it's been all this, like, like, shutting down, like, but you know in your heart of hearts, especially since this is a cup, like, you know, cups are the water emotions, you know in your heart of hearts, you know how to work with your anger, or you can utilize it in a way, but I think just for a while, your go-to coping mechanism has been to shut down. And it's about, you know, tapping back into that inner power, to, you know, not just, and I'm not saying, you know, just like, you know, tuck your tail and run, but, you know, to move towards something that isn't just avoidance. Yeah, especially with the 6 of Wands in reverse. It's literally like you're getting in your own way. Interesting with the 6 of Pentacles too. A lot of 6s. Sorry, I'm looking through my book again. While I'm flipping through, if you want to like, comment, share, subscribe, you know, YouTube stuff. I do appreciate you being here and being patient with me as I flip through and, you know, make sure I'm just giving you the most accurate reading possible. I always forget where the Pentacles are in this dang book. Like, sometimes I feel like there genuinely is a poltergeist that just like hangs with me and just like, anyway, I won't get into it right now. Yeah, the generously charitable crow happily shares a fish since he has 2 and is not worried about finding more. Although he's a compassionate crow, he's not necessarily a philanthropist, as he does expect some form of payment back in the future. The 6 of Pentacles denotes a time of receiving or offering help with strings attached. Yeah, so kind of what I'm getting with that too is if there's anger, maybe around, I'm not getting it like somebody had strings attached with you. I'm getting more like there could be, and I know I said this reading isn't going to delve into like what makes you angry, but I feel like some situations or something that could easily trigger you is when you feel like you give to people sort of, not necessarily with them asking, and then get frustrated when they don't return the favor. And that's kind of like getting in your own way. Especially with the Page of Cups here, it's this reminder to be like, to really look at everything that's happening around you. And again, with the fish, so it's like boom, boom, there's fish in both of these. So I feel like they're definitely connected. Especially with like, again, these huge bodies of water, a lot of feelings going on here. I feel like what it's saying more than anything, pile 3, is not like, the reason you might feel overwhelmed sometimes with anger is because you are placing these expectations or these strings, maybe not knowingly, especially with the Page of Cups, which is usually about, you know, like, you know, it's a very, again, I don't want to use the word naive with pages, because they aren't naive, you know, they're open. And I think that's definitely what it's saying to be here. It's like, you know, be open to things not always being reciprocated. And I know that sucks. But I think it's part of it saying, once you let go of this expectation, things don't feel so overwhelming or like so quick to anger, is really what I'm getting more than anything, pile 3. Yeah, especially I'm getting that strings attached thing. And maybe if you are in the reverse, you know, and somebody like is like, oh, I'll take you out to dinner or this or that, and then they kind of like the next week are like, well, now you owe me a favor or whatever. Maybe consider cutting that energy out, or, you know, talking, if you don't want to just like slice, like, obviously if this is person, it's important to you, you know, talk to them about it, establish those boundaries, that balance. And last but not least, I'm going to pull, before my dog starts yelling at me about wanting, I don't even want to say it, FOOD. I'm going to pull a rune for you to kind of give you like overall advice or information, just like an outgoing sort of message for y'all, pile 3, in terms of alchemizing your anger and, you know, making, not necessarily like, you know, making peace with it, but, you know, utilizing it in a way that works for you. Just trying to really mix them up. Okay, this is the one. And again, I just got these runes. They're so pretty. I got them. I'll link her in the comments. It's from, I got them at a little craft show in Pasadena. This is Burkano, Birch Goddess, Rebirth, Sanctuary, Plant Life, Mature Wisdom. See, again, I think it's like with finding those boundaries within strings attached relationships, quote unquote. The most obvious truth is hidden deep within, and only you will ever know it. Yeah, mature wisdom, dependence. Yeah, so I think it's just kind of confirming what I was gleaning from these together. Pile 3 is that, you know, take this time to heal and see if things that make you angry are this like feeling of like a lack of balance, right? Because you do have the power to literally not be in your own way, right? And know that you will have, like, if you're nervous to, you know, move into these actions, literally the spindle is like, we will give you sustenance, dude. Do not worry. We have your back. Yeah, you can do this, pile 3. And that's what I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed the reading, and you know the drill. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I really appreciate it. And I super, super appreciate you being here and watching this video. And I hope that you come back for another one. All right, bye, pile 3. Bye, bye, bye. Hello, pile 4. If you are here, you picked pile 4. And you picked the Sally Willow from the Celtic Tarot. Oh, wow, I'm just butchering things left and right. The Sally Willow from the Celtic Oracle deck, the Celtic Tree Oracle deck. Really, really beautiful card. I love willows. They're so pretty. So mysterious. I do think of Grandmother Willow from the animated Pocahontas. Wise, smart. Wise, smart. Two of the same. Actually, they're not the same things. I feel there's a difference. Wisdom's more like crystallized, like accumulated. Anyway, instead of dipping into semantics, pile 4, I'm going to do a little bit of a vibe check with the Oracle card you chose, just to make sure you're in the right pile. If you feel like this doesn't resonate with you, you can go back, pick another pile, you can watch all the piles, you can do whatever you want. But yeah, let's start with that. So you picked Sally Willow, and this is a card of like honoring your emotions. Like I'm getting like very like Tumblr era witchy vibes. If you don't know what that is, it's just like you're into witchcraft, like Lana Del, like nothing you're into Lana Del Rey, but like that sort of aesthetic, like is the vibe I'm getting with this, like very moody, very mysterious. And maybe you are somebody who, like when you're angry, you're like, you know, just throw like a casual hex to make them like late for work all the time or something. You know, like, you're not like, you know, cursing anybody to death, but like, you got a mysterious, like an edge to you. Pile 4 is kind of the vibe I'm getting, and especially when you're angry. Like I'm seeing almost like Regina George in Mean Girls when like she's just standing so calmly. It's like pandemonium, like because she released the burn book everywhere. Spoiler alert. But yeah, that sounds like you. When you're angry, you are in the right pile 4, and I'm scared of you, but also kind of hot for you. No, I'm kidding. So what we're gonna do first, pile 4, is go through the occult tarot to kind of see, like, you know, just expand upon this oracle card and see like how you usually deal with anger. And then I'm gonna go through the crow tarot to see like how you can either alchemize or use that sort of way you deal with anger to your benefit. And again, I pre-picked the piles, but I have not seen them, so they're as much of a surprise to me as they are to you. All right, so we've got the Ace of Pentacles with Lucifuge, Rofacal. Gives all worldly power and treasures, makes one rich quickly. Yeah, you're something witchy about you. I mean, in the best way. And then we got the Star. Wow, the Star in reverse. With Gap. Can cause love or hate. Can make one ignorant and without sense. See, yeah, I feel like you're very alluring. Maybe you've dabbled in love, not potions, but love magic, candle magic. Delivers familiars from other magicians. Can move from place to place. But in reverse, it can like kind of point to disillusionment a little bit. And then, wow. And then you got the Moon in reverse. Holy smokes. Literally. Okay. Yeah. I feel like you dive really deep into yourself when you're angry. Like you really go to a place, and I'm not saying like necessarily bad, but very Scorpio vibes. And then the 7 of Wands. Glasa Labolas. Causes murder and bloodshed. Yeah, I knew. Yeah, you guys do not play. Tells the things to come. Causes the love of friends or enemies. Can make one invisible. Yeah, pile 4. I feel like you're not quick to anger, but when you're mad, you are mad. And you do everything in your power to vindicate, is the word I'm getting. Yeah, very like, just a lot of emotion. Which like obviously sometimes is very warranted, but especially with the Star and the Moon in reverse, and like I shuffle these cards real good. Just I feel like there's a with anger there's a tendency to turn so inwards that like, not like to the point where it's like you're delusional, but like there's parts of you that like lie to yourself about the anger, or like about being like it being justified all the time, or the way you're dealing with it is justified. Maybe like if the anger is like, you're like, no, I definitely deserve to be angry at this, but like the way that you deal with the anger is justified. But I think you know that like, especially with the 7 of, I want to look at the 7 of Wands really quickly. I just want to double check that I'm reading this correctly. Yeah, like you're defending your territory, like very, yeah, like you have to kind of return to the shadows to fix something. The vibe I'm getting, pile 4. Especially with the Ace of Pentacles, which is like, you know, and I think you're usually successful is the thing. In like your ends, so to speak. So if you're angry with somebody and you know, cursed or hexed them, or like, you know, even if you're like, I don't do magic at all, but like, even if you just, there's just strategery. You're a very strategic person, which I think can like definitely lead you to like a lot of good things on the material plane. But this whole like having to defend yourself all the time, like I feel like it's going to get exhausting. But let's take a look at the Crow Tarot in terms of like how to alchemize and or use this to your benefit, pile 4. Maybe you're like, I'm a bad bitch. I'm going to do whatever I want. And this works for me. And I like being like the femme fatale. And again, you could be like any gender, or that's just like the vibe I'm getting. Yeah, let's see what the Crow Tarot has to say. You got Strength in reverse. A lot of major arcana. the Five of Swords, the Eight of Wands, and then the Five of Wands in reverse. Five, five, five. So many fives. Yeah, with the Strength, I feel like, especially in reverse, it's like, I feel like, again, like you're somebody who like goes really within yourself when you're angry to like figure things out, and like you feel like you have to kind of solve this on your own. And I think the Strength in reverse is saying like, yeah, dude, we know you're friggin' strong as hell, and like you can literally get whatever you want, but you know, you don't always have to do it by yourself. Is kind of what I'm getting here. Especially with the wands, Five of Wands and Five of Swords, like upright and in reverse, like it's all about this like strife, and like I feel like maybe that's something that's happened in the past that's made you, you know, more keen to just like delve inwards when you're angry or upset, and like, you know, deal with things on your own. But to a certain point, conflict is healthy, right? Like that's how we make progress. That's how we know something's wrong. And especially with the Eight of Wands, what I'm getting is like, it's going to be much faster. Like whatever conflict you do have to deal with, like instead of like I'm not saying that instead of, but like in addition to turning within, like, you know, maybe talking to the person that's making you upset, or like looking into how you can remedy this. And I'm trying to keep it very general. So if it's like, I'm upset about how much money the city's spending on water fountains, I don't know. Like instead of, you know, being like, well, now I'm going to do all this work by myself. Like literally fast action, look up an email accounts person, be like, I'm angry. Which it's not to say, you know, be like reactionary, but I think whatever you're like, especially with the star and the moon up here, like I feel like there's like a lot of the reason you delve within is because you are afraid of the backlash. And you're like, how about instead of dealing with like this thing that's making me really, really angry in the 3D, I just retreat to myself, fix everything, you know, with strategy, and then I'll reemerge and everything will be cool. And I won't even have to like look angry at anybody, and it'll just be like, oh, it all just magically came together. How cool is that? As you're like literally like sweating because you've been working on this so hard, sort of thing. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting, pile 4. And I think if you want to keep doing that, it's clearly working. But I think maybe the reasons why you're doing it aren't as scary as your mind kind of paints them to be, if that makes sense. Pile 4. Yeah, but just to kind of tie this up into, you know, make sure we're getting a clear read on this pile 4. I am going to pull, sorry, there are my keys. See, I was like, literally my keys just jingled. It's like, you got to go, quick action. I'm going to pull a rune for like final sort of closure. And I just do want to say, you all, pile 4, are very powerful. And this is the rune. And again, I just got this rune set when I was at a metaphysical soiree of sorts. I need to look up how to pronounce it. So I appreciate your patience with me as I continue to learn. Oh, I know this one. It's in use because it always fools me because sometimes it's not depicted as like this double X. It's like just the diamond. Sometimes this is the same rune. But yeah, creation, genesis, process, evolution, energetic burst, boom. Process and space, yeah. So this is interesting because it is like about like, you know, planting that seed, so to speak, but it's more about the seed not being in like the womb part of it, for lack of a better word. It's about being in that masculine energy, like that action. You plant the seed, you keep going. Like, not to make it like about that, but in that capacity, like drop the seed, go, drop the seed, go. Even with like, if you're doing this again, and like, I just got a vibe that, you know, there's some magic happening. That's a sort of energy, like in your anger, it's like if you are spell casting or whatever, use that anger like as an energy builder during your spell, release it when the spell's done being cast, and then you're done. on to the next one. Like Jay-Z, like, on to the next one, on to the next one. My timer was at 11:33 when I said that, so I think it's maybe something else for you to look up pile 4, 11:33, angel number. But yeah, storage and transformation of power for ritual use. Subtle creative action. So again, it's not saying you have to eliminate the strategicness, because I feel like you are very good at it, pile 4, when it comes to your anger or how you deal with anger. But know that you don't have to do it alone. And I think especially if you are like, no, I'm gonna do it alone. Set it and forget it, whatever it is. Like, don't fester on it. Like, don't have like I just got like a picture of in my head of like, you know, in Hey Arnold, how Helga has like the gum shrine of Arnold, where like she praises him, but then she's like yelling at him in real life. Like, don't do that. Don't like set up a shrine to whatever you're trying to figure out and like spend all this time, you know, being mysterious and witchy, so to speak. Yeah, this is more about like a single surge of energy, like a 1-2 punch is what I'm getting, pile 4. And with that, that concludes your reading, pile 4. I hope that whatever's making you angry is resolved soon. Ideally not with violence. Ideally in a way that is productive for everybody. But yeah, you all are very, very powerful, very mysterious. I feel like you're probably just like sexy people too. There, I said it, pile 4. I didn't say it's any of the other piles, so there. I bet everyone's sexy, but you guys are extra sexy. Anyway, with that, thank you for being here, pile 4. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. You know the YouTube drill. And I will talk to you all next time. Bye.